All right, welcome back. Our guest tonight is the Superintendent of Terrebonne Parish, Philip Martin. Philip, we appreciate you being on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, we call it a millage, we call it a tax. No matter how you slice it, it would be an increase for Terrebonne Parish. But before we just look at it as an increase, we got some facts that I've been looking through that are sort of staggering when you talk about Terrebonne Parish and the school system. So I'm going to give you the floor. And first of all, when you talk about average per pupil expenditures, it's shocking where Terrebonne Parish falls. It may be time to look at doing something another way, right?
Yes, Martin, I think that I appreciate the opportunity to present some facts to your viewing audience. Obviously, everyone will make their mind up, but I do think there's some very compelling facts that the citizens of Terrebonne Parish are probably not aware of. I have to say quite candidly, as superintendent, some of these things I did not become that familiar with until fairly recently. In struggling with our financial burden that we've been doing the last 3-4 years, it's been an ongoing battle. We've reduced over 400 employees in the last 4 years, not because we didn't feel we needed 400 people or 400 people we didn't like any longer. We no longer had the resources to support that. It's a fairly good sized school system, 400 employees by itself. As this struggle continued, I decided to explore. I knew what we were spending the money on. That part I was very, very clear, very intimate what we spend the money on. I decided to begin looking at where do we get the money from? And have I missed something? Is there something there that we are not taking advantage of? Every school district, and there's 70 in Louisiana, gets their money from two places predominantly: state, local. Two sources. State is MFP. All districts are basically the same. It's numbers driven. You have one kid, you get $1. I'm using this as a very simplified example. 2 kids, $2, 3 kids, $3, so on. But it's the same allotment per district. Mm-hmm. So in that regard, we're fairly comparable to the other districts. The other is local support. That's where I found some staggering, in my mind, issues. We're one of the largest districts in Louisiana, by the way. Mm-hmm. Terrebonne Parish is a large school district. Of all 70 districts, if you rank them in order of millages, local support, dedicated to public education, Terrebonne Parish ranks last. That was a very staggering number to me when I discovered that. It kind of turned the light on why we have such significant financial problems.
But it goes further. You told me that they rank last, and Louisiana ranks last in the nation.
Yeah.
So we're the last of the last.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is absolutely correct. Louisiana is last in terms of property tax collected, according to the latest Census Bureau information. That was fairly staggering when I made that discovery. Someone sent me that information, and we're last in Louisiana, in Terrebonne Parish.
And let's look at per pupil, just to give the surrounding areas a little example of what we're doing. Terrebonne, per pupil, $9,000 basically spent. Lafourche spends $11,500. Let's round off.
2,500 more.
Yeah. Assumption, $11,500. St. Charles, $16,500. And they're half the size of Terrebonne, correct?
That is correct.
The state average is $12,500. We're $2,500.
$3,500.
I'm sorry, $3,500 less than the average.
That is correct. That's factual information.
What baffles me is Terrebonne Parish is a big parish with a lot of well-to-do companies. Have we just been asleep at the wheel?
Terrebonne Parish, we're very blessed in that we've had a very vibrant, healthy economy. Certainly in the state, maybe in the nation. And I don't think many people realize in an economy that is so vibrant and flourishing, and by the way, the projections are for that to continue, that we support public education at a rate of last in Louisiana. There's 70 districts. I pointed out that we're last. And you know, data sometimes can be used to twist things. I heard an expression one time, if you torture a number long enough, it'll confess to anything. But to put that in perspective of being last, if all 70 districts were bunched close together and there wasn't a big difference, it may be an insignificant number. We're last. We collect 9.27 mills for property tax in Terrebonne Parish that goes to public education. The state average is 40. You mentioned St. Charles, there's a 65. Lafourche is 48. We're last by a lot.
Does the fact that a lot of people, that their homestead exemptions, you just don't, it looks good on the big map, but you don't collect a whole lot of money.
Well, we don't in Terrebonne Parish.
Right.
You know, the homestead exemption is applicable statewide. It's just not a Terrebonne Parish phenomenon. As you began in the introduction, it's a tax. No one likes taxes. Neither do I. Quite honest, if someone would have told me 4 years ago I'd be proposing a tax, I'd have said, you need to go check in somewhere, you need some help. After discovering the facts and after understanding at firsthand the financial hardship Terrebonne Parish Public Schools have been under, and discovering that we're one of the largest districts, which I did know. I didn't know that we ranked last, as you point out, in a state that's already last in property tax. I would like to clarify something as well, though. I hate saying Terrebonne Parish and last, and we are last in average per pupil expenditure as well in Louisiana. There's no district that spends less per pupil than we do. These are not numbers that we've generated. This comes from the state of Louisiana. That's disturbing to me as superintendent. That's disturbing to me as a grandparent. I'm not innately a person who wants taxes. I have 3 grandkids. I am not willing for them to go to the worst funded public school system in Louisiana. My grandkids will go to public schools. My children went to public schools. Louisiana is living on Terrebonne Parish is living on a legacy of great educators, marvelously talented people. We rank last in financial issues and financial support. And English teachers, please don't cringe when I say this. We ain't close to last when it comes to measures of student success, academic success, student performance, school performance, district performance. We're doing very well.
So you telling me if you got what you wanted here, it would be a whole lot better?
Martin, when I speak to principals and teachers on this issue and other issues, I always make a point to say that, you know, we're better than average, far better than average. And if anybody is happy with just being better than average,
right,
go get another job. There's no reason Terrebonne Parish can't be the premier public school system in Louisiana. We can't do it being last in millages. We cannot do it. I don't know that we'll be able to sustain the loss of talent as people retire. You see, at one time, Terrebonne Parish used to be historically one of the highest paying districts in the state. We're still benefiting from that legacy today because we have a lot of people in this district who came here because as they began their career, they looked at a place where paid the most.
Right.
It
is about the money a lot of times.
Well, you know,
people want to do well. They want to be rewarded.
A young person who is graduating from college, college diploma in one hand, teaching credentials in the other hand, highly qualified, they can basically go anywhere they want in the state and get a teaching job.
Right.
You know, I want to be able to compete for the best and brightest.
Yeah.
Currently, we're 45th in average teacher pay. Whether that generates sympathy or not, that's not the reason why I say it. It's that I said I don't want to be 46th in line at the talent pool.
Right. And let's face it, you were telling me that people from Terrebonne want to keep Terrebonne Parish soil between their toes. They don't want to leave. They want to root here. But if you're looking at St. Charles and Lafourche and Assumption, paying more money, they're going to go. You got to get close.
We need to get closer to the. We need to have an enticement for young people to. I want to be able to attract the best and brightest, for my grandkids and everybody else's kids. I want the. You see, we've there's no mystery into what is the most vital component in a child's education other than mom and dad. It's not the textbook. It's not the instructional software package. It's not the color of the walls. It's the effectiveness of the teacher. That is the most significant contributor to the education of a child.
Before we take a break, I'm listening to you as a superintendent, but I'm hearing you more as a grandparent. This is the legacy you want to leave for your it's really the majority as a grandparent, not as a superintendent, is it?
I have used this expression. I'm a very greedy, selfish person. I want my grandkids to have better than last. Yes, sir. It absolutely is part of that.
I could hear that in your tone. I was hearing it when I was talking to you outside. Let's take a break. When we come back, we have a lot of questions. Where's the money going to go? A lot of you have called in HTV or expressed an interest to find out where the money is going to go. Is it going to go to central office? Is it going to go to janitors, teachers? Where? He'll answer that when we come back. Don't go away, and then we'll take some phone calls. So it's all next.